Time, sir.
My name is Brian Claypool, and I'm the owner of the Claypool Law Firm. My firm represents 11 children and also the parents of the 11 children in a lawsuit that's currently pending against the Los Angeles Unified School District arising out of the Miramonte child abuse scandal, in which we all know now that Mr. Burns had carried out these lurid acts of abuse on these children for over 20 years. The reason why we're here today, though, is I was reading the report yesterday, 267-page report. It was prepared by the former FBI Director, William Free. And halfway into reading that report, I said to myself, wow, this report looks like a report on Miramonte School. I was looking at that and I said, everything that FBI Director Free is saying about Penn State is the same problem that we had at Miramonte. For example, we had at Miramonte an intentional concealment of Mr. Burns carrying out all these lurid acts. The staff, the administration got together. They knew about Mr. Burns 20 years ago. They did nothing. They shoveled it under the carpet. And the reason why they shoveled it under the carpet is because of this. Right here. Let me show you why they did it. Money. Right here. Money. Money follows the kids. For every child that doesn't show up in a classroom at LAUSD, they lose money. Almost $400 a day on each kid that doesn't show up. So that provided the motive all these years for the LAUSD to discourage anybody from reporting suspected child abuse of a teacher because of the money. Because they knew that word would get out that there are predators in the school, kids would pull out of school, and they would lose the money. It's all about the money. It's like a fix. It's like a drug over at LAUSD. They need another fix of the money. We can't report child abuse or try to prevent child abuse because we'll lose our fix. We're going to lose our money. That's exactly what I saw yesterday in that same report about Penn State. A conscious, willful disregard for the well-being of the students, not only at Miramonte School, but at hundreds of schools in the Los Angeles Unified School District. Another thing that struck me yesterday, though, was I'm reading this independent investigative report yesterday, and I said to myself, here we are 6 months later, 6 months after Miramonte broke, and there hasn't been a single independent investigation of Miramonte and of the Los Angeles Unified School District. Can you believe that? Can the members of the community believe that? Can people across the country believe that? Does anybody care about kids being kicked to the curb, thrown under the bus at the expense of big business wanting to make money? Does anybody really care about this? So what we decided to do was contact President Obama. Because our state attorney general didn't care, our district attorney didn't conduct an independent investigation for purposes of determining whether to indict any LAUSD officials. And by the way, that is the only way we are going to make monumental change, not only at Miramonte, not only at LAUSD, not only at Penn State, not only at the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. The only way to do it is there needs to be a criminal investigation to determine whether top officials at LAUSD knew about Mr. Burns, they knew about other teachers who were predators at schools throughout LAUSD, and they intentionally decided to shuffle those teachers to other schools, or they did nothing to remove those teachers from those schools. If they did that, which we believe they have over the last 20 years, that amounts to what's called a criminal conspiracy to commit child endangerment. That is a crime. And recently in Philadelphia, a a senior official of the Archdiocese School, was convicted of criminal conspiracy to commit child endangerment. The time is now to have all of these officials, not only John Daisy today, I'm talking back 15 and 20 years ago. All of those individuals need to be investigated. All of the internal emails, just like Penn State, between all of these officials, talking about all these child predator teachers that were allowed to circulate these schools and prey upon these kids. They permitted it. We need a federal investigation of that. And I've got some good news today. President Obama, to his credit, I commend him, the first person to come forward and try to help these kids and these parents. He sent my letter to the U.S. Department of Justice. And the U.S. Department of Justice sent it to the FBI. And I have here, right here, a letter from the FBI in Washington, D.C. Here it is. They've looked at my letter, and they said they are looking at the information and that it might warrant a federal investigation. The FBI in Washington, D.C. has contacted the local FBI bureau in Los Angeles, and they've opened a file. They've opened a file. They are in the process of determining whether to launch a full-fledged federal investigation. That is a great development. They asked me to provide them with additional information, and I have provided them recently with additional factual information to support the atrocity that's taken place over at Miramonte and other schools for the last 20 years. And the good news is, FBI has invited anybody with information, any families, any witnesses, any individuals who have not come forward yet, to come forward. We want you to come forward. And they, the FBI, is asking anybody everywhere, families, kids, parents, witnesses, to call them. And the number to call the local FBI bureau to get this federal investigation launched is 310-477-6565. Let me say that again. 310-477-6565. This is a fascinating development for this community, and we can't stop here, though. We need to push the FBI over the edge to do this investigation. We have their attention. They are interested. Thank you, President Obama, for taking the time to read this letter. Thank you, President Obama and Michelle Obama, for looking at the details that we sent you. Thank you for contacting the Department of Justice. Thank you, FBI, for contacting my office. But it's now up to the community. People in this city and county need to now respond. Contact your local FBI, giving you the number, and let's get this federal investigation launched. And the reason why we need this federal investigation of Miramonte and Los Angeles Unified School District is because they can't control themselves. They can't monitor themselves. They don't have a vested interest in taking care of these kids. They have exhibited a pattern over the last 20 years of kicking children to the curb, throwing them under the bus, retaliating against teachers who report suspected abuse. I'm a single parent of a 6-year-old girl. I was horrified by what happened here. I was horrified yesterday to read about Penn State. We now have a chance to use the blueprint